it's the ultimate. It's a pinnacle, I think, of rugby league winning grand finals. And as all that hard work that goes into it, all the sweat and the training and the sacrifice makes it all worthwhile.
Winning a premiership's like winning the lottery.
Well, it's what we play the game for.
It is the ultimate pressure on a rugby league player, and some will take that pressure on board and reap it, and some will take it on board and sink.
It meant playing and winning 5 out of 6 grand finals. It was just, and I still today think, why me, you know, but I'm glad it wasn't.
You've worked hard all season for that one game, and that's the grand final, and it's a very special occasion.
It's the ultimate day for everybody, not just the players involved, but for the fans. And you know, I think the great thing about it is even if your team is not involved, you still watch the grand final.
It's champagne for the winners and beer for the losers.
It's just an absolute wonderful feeling that goes through your whole body when you know when that hooter goes that you know you're finally the champion.
Grand final's the ultimate from a mateship point of view. You know, to actually achieve whilst playing in a team is one of the best things you can experience, and I reckon it holds you in good stead for the rest of your life as well.
Hi, I'm Laurie Daly, and you can take it from me, there's nothing quite like Grand Final Day. It's a special event for everyone involved in the greatest game of all, from players through to fans. I was lucky enough to play in 4 of them, and I treasure the memory of each of my 3 triumphs.
Laurie's the kind of bloke who loves his football. You can see the passion and the excitement that he plays with.
There's probably no worse feeling than sitting in this stand right here where you're sitting now, having lost a grand final in front of 50 or 60,000 people, and they've all gone home, and you've sat here, you've looked at the scoreboards with 1 or 2 of your friends, and it's probably the most gut-wrenching feeling you could ever have. Having experienced that only a year earlier, I think that, and probably 90% of us had played in the 79 grand final, so we knew what it felt like and we didn't want to go through that again.
A lot of young kids coming up, and you know, Sterling, Ella, Growth, as well as the more experienced guys of Pricey and Crone and that. But it was a great game. We'd had a great season, and it was fitting that I think there'll be one for Parramatta and their fans.
People ask me what the highlights are of my career, and I can't put anything higher than that first grand final victory, because it was. Parramatta have won grand finals since then. They'll win them again in the future, but they'll never win it again for the first time. So that was very, very special, and just a huge highlight. We beat Manly in that year's grand final, of course, and if you had a look through their side, they were star-studded. They were full of not just representative players, but mostly Australian representative players. But, I think we learnt from the previous year the experience of being in those finals, because we had a young side outside of some of our more established stars, but the likes of Growth and Ella and Kenny.
I guess a lot of people, mainly supporters, felt that we'd achieved something because the fact it was Manly. The first one, all right, it was against Newtown, but the second one was against our arch rivals, and that proved that we had achieved something by winning the grand final against Manly. So as far as being the second one not meaning as much, I think it meant just as much as the first one.
Especially the amount of tradition that the Sydney Cricket Ground holds, we were very confident, and the game just went our way the whole way. I was never in doubt playing that game that we were going to lose. Everybody was giving their best effort. Everybody played well that day, and we got away with the points.
I don't think people sort of realise how important it is to a player to actually win a competition, because there's so many great players who have gone throughout their careers, played for Australia, they've done everything, and yet they haven't won with their teammates as such. And I think it's something that is certainly treasured. So to be able to win 3 in a row was just something phenomenal.
probably the most consistent team all year, and come up against Parramatta going for 4 in a row. It was quite a good experience for me, and split my eye open. I think it was this eye, and them days you could stay on the field with a split eye.
It gives me goosebumps just thinking about it and just talking about it. I remember one time in the game, the second half, Darryl Broman come on as a replacement, and we kicked the ball downfield, and I was getting tired, and I started to walk a bit, and Darryl Broman said, "Come on, young fella, keep running," and I always remember it. And he wasn't the fittest bloke, and still isn't, but that's one of the vivid memories of '84, that being told by the old blokes to keep running, and being a close grand final. The exhilaration when the hooter went, it was something, you can't buy that experience.
We were pumped. We had a very physical pack, a very skillful pack. We had a bit of a setback too with Terry Lamb being out injured leading up to the grand final. Michael Hagan came in and did a terrific job.
Canterbury had a very tough, not only a tough forward pack, but people like Chris Mortimer, Andrew Farrow in the centres, who were very tough customers themselves, and played like extra forwards in a lot of respects.
You know, people said after that period of time that the game was becoming too defence orientated, and that was their example. But gee, a wonderful game. Like, yeah, I still sit there sometimes. I'll put the last 10 or 15 minutes on, and if I had hair, it would be up on the back of my neck. The final wash-up, we'd just done enough, and beat a very good football team.
And that team was one of the greatest sides that I've ever been involved with. And I would put that team up against any team from any era, and I reckon we could beat them, because we had so much speed.
And there was a feeling within the club, and we knew we had the best side, and we knew we were going to do well. Unlike '83, we'd made that mistake of not firing on the day, and when we won it, it was more of a sense. You know, Bozo had won his first grand final as a coach. It was more of a sense of we've done it. You know.
Oh, mate, it was a big thrill, like to get this Clive Churchill medal. You know, thinking back to it. I actually thought Kevin Ward played a big game too, so he could probably think himself unlucky not to get it too. So we all played a hand in it, and you know, it was an honour to receive it.
Coached by Warren Ryan, 84, 85, 86, and he had influence on our '88 victory, and he was a coach of Balmain against us, because he taught all those players, and or most of them, and he taught Phil Gould, and so in ways, you know, he was plotting his own downfall.
Ellery was a key player for them. We knew when he got the ball he was a danger man, and we had to cover that up. But was no intent before the game, during the game, or at half time that we're going to try to knock him out. But I did get him, and it was all accidental. We were the best team in the comp all year, so we deserved to win the grand final.
We all felt physically stronger, I believe, and Steve Jackson went on to score that memorable try that really sealed it for us.
Well, I mean, it's probably my most special moment in the game, because with a bit of adversity there with the team. A bit of adversity as far as I was concerned in regards to, you know, all the broken arms and I had to endure and come back from, and you know, we had to win 9 games straight just to make the grand final that particular year. We're the first team outside of Sydney to actually, you know, win a grand final. With the first team, you know, outside the top 3 to actually win a grand final. We had to do it in extra time. You know, all those sort of things added up to, you know, one of the most memorable experiences I've ever had. And after the grand final, in particular down in Canberra, you know, we had 100,000 people there celebrate the wonderful achievement of the team, and the 3 days leading after that grand final is probably the most enjoyable I have as well.
Week in, week out, we had teams playing against the premiers, so we had to be on top of our game week in and week out.
Well, I think he got man of the match, Ricky, and you know, when you got such a talent like that, you know, with the ball in hand and the ball on the foot, you know, giving you great field position.
Getting into that grand final, we just had so much confidence. We started slow. I remember getting a big reverend from Gus at half time, and it just sort of shook us out of it a bit, and then we really dominated the second half. I think Brandy came into his play and everyone really worked hard, and it just would have been real disappointing that year if we hadn't have come away with it. And I think it was unlikely because we just worked so hard for it.
I know St George competed for a long period of time, and sort of midway through that second half we just blew them away. But I just felt that we were just that good a side, I've got to say.
I think the biggest thing was we didn't realise the impact it had on Brisbane and Queensland itself. It was phenomenal, the amount of people that you had to be here to believe it, but it was just unbelievable. A couple of days or a week really. The place was just rocking. The whole of Brisbane was rocking for about a week. It was unbelievable.
Individually, all the players could sit back and think, well, we've repaid Mal now. We've repaid him by sending him out a winner.
It couldn't have finished on a better note for me, and scoring that last try in a grand final. I've played about 11 grand finals in my 16-year professional career, never scored a try in a final at all. So to actually score that and be the last one and be part of a winning team was the ultimate for me.
We had problems internally with the Super League ARL war. We had 4 players, McCracken, Dimmick, Smith and Dean Pay, leaving to go to Parramatta the year after. It was turmoil. We got flogged by Auckland at Parramatta Stadium by 40 points, and we had to get together. It was probably about a month before the semi-finals, and we got together, had a drink, had a feed, told some truths. From then we never lost the game. And to due respect to Manly, in the grand final, that was probably the easiest game right through the semi-final series. Being captain and holding the Winfield Cup up at that time was very memorable to me.
We spoke about making the grand final, not winning it, and I think it's a big thing if you don't set your mind straight about it. It's what they call goal setting, and we set our goal to win the grand final, and we had a pretty good year and got there, and I just knew it was right in the day. Got there, everyone was ready, you could see it in their eyes, and just to walk around the stadium out over here, the football stadium, best thing ever.
Just the memories, of the siren going and doing the lap of honour. You'll never forget those. And another one of the great memories of coming back to the Leagues Club, and you couldn't move in the Leagues Club, and we were doing a couple of laps of the Leagues Club. And it was I've never seen that many people in there. You could hardly move in there.
You couldn't write a script to a grand final any more perfect than that, And as I said, a lot of hardships melted within it, and a town that wanted to feel good about itself, loves rugby league more than anything else you can imagine. To beat the arch rivals on a record crowd and all those things that went along with it. Yeah, it was without the doubt in my football career the highlight.
We were happy that we won 97, but obviously filthy that there were 2 competitions and we had something to prove, and we really thought that. So to go and win that 98 just topped it off for us.
And again, we'd come in as favourites, and our forwards, I'd actually given them, set a bit of a trap for them and told them that the Canterbury forwards were a pack that Alf and I would really enjoy playing behind, and just generally teased them. I know now after it, they didn't know that the role I was playing. Andrew G tells me that 2 or 3 of them wanted to physically, after training, get me and punch my head into a brick wall or just physically abuse me. But it was a little tactic that I used with them, and myself and Alf particularly, because we knew that to get out the best advantage for our team, we had to get our forwards working as a team. Certainly the ability was there, but just need a little bit of outside motivation, and we were the ones to provide that. Just a lot of emotion that day. We'd been pretty successful again that year as far as, through the preliminary rounds, and again with I think pretty much the dominant team of the year 2000, and it was just good to get a mix of older players like myself and Michael Hancock were in that side, with some younger ones coming through with their first grand final. So it's one of my favourites. Well, they're all great, but that's one of my favourites.
Certainly very special. The day was special, but the week before and week after were probably just as enjoyable.
To get a couple of tries was quite satisfying, and obviously makes you feel very proud, and to do it for such a proud club was wonderful.
It was funny, during the year I was at a luncheon and a guy asked me a question that all the dominant halves of the modern era, Sterling, Mortimer, Langer, have all, Ricky Stuart, have all won premierships and dominated semi-final football, and he asked whether I thought I'd done that, and I probably said no up until then. So that sort of got a bee in the bonnet that I really wanted to do that. And I've seen Alfie win Clive Churchill medals, I've seen Sterlo, seen Ricky Stuart do it, so it sort of became a personal mission. So to get that was it's probably, especially over the last 12 months, one of the nicest things that's happened to me. Also, Clive Churchill being a Newcastle boy, it's a nice touch.
This is what it's all about, winning the grand final.